A Celtic legend is opening up about his future and possible retirement. The Rangers manager just made another controversial claim about us, and Martin O'Neill admits the title race has caught Celtic by surprise. Plus, the Green Brigade situation just took another dramatic turn, and we've got the inside story on Callum McGregor's halftime team talk that sparked the Ibrox comeback. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. James Forrest will go down as a Celtic legend when he eventually leaves the club. The winger's contract is due to expire at the end of the season, and he's admitted he's thought about retiring, but he's keen to stay in the game for as long as possible. He's been at the club for his full 16-year career and has scored in every single season. Last year, we had to wait until the very last league game for that goal, but he's already got this season's, so there will be no sweat come April. Racking up over 550 appearances, he's breached 100 goals and 100 assists in the hoops. He's made an impact in his last 2 appearances. At Ibrox, he set up Maida for the Dujon Sterling handball. It was a brilliant lofted ball in, right on the Japanese for him to head towards goal. It was heading in, but it wasn't for the handball. Celtic were awarded a penalty, and Hatate eventually knocked it in. Speaking on his future and the thought of retiring, James Forrest said, "I have thought about it at times, but I think with our busy schedule the last couple of months, we've just been focused on playing. I definitely want to stay in the game to some capacity. It's all I've ever done. It's all I know. I love football. I love watching it as well. I think that's a big one. I love being about it. I think whatever happens at the end of this season, I'll talk about next season and then maybe look into that more, but definitely I want to stay in football somehow. I just love playing, and I know I'm maybe getting to the latter stage of my career, but I think I'm actually trying to maybe work harder and try and stay as long as possible and try and help the team just because I've loved doing it for years. I want to try and just give everything I've got until I'm done. I don't just want to train with the team and just fizzle out. I want to try and make an impact. I want to try and play and help the team and help the players and the staff when I can. The last couple of games, I've managed to do that. He's one of the most loved players at the club, and when he does decide to call it a day, he will get a legend's send-off. Hopefully, if it is this season, he will go out on a high with a winner's medal. Now for the main story, as Rangers manager Danny Rohl has made another eyebrow-raising claim about Celtic ahead of the latest Glasgow derby meeting at Ibrox. The two sides meet again in the Scottish Cup only days after their dramatic league clash at the same ground. Celtic were poor for large parts of the first half in that match and went 2 goals down before the break. After the interval, the game shifted. Celtic began to control possession and pushed Rangers back inside their own half. The pressure eventually told late on when Celtic grabbed an equaliser that stunned the home crowd. That comeback is still fresh as the teams prepare to meet again. Celtic will believe the second half performance showed exactly how this fixture can change once momentum swings. Asked, "Are Celtic still your most difficult opponent?" Rohl said, "No, I think you see it as a general competition in the league. But this game is also very special. It's not just football, it's also emotional. It's about who is the best team in the city, and every supporter is looking forward to it. We had an outstanding crowd, and the atmosphere was incredible in the stadium on the weekend. We will try to have this good feeling again from the first 15 minutes. Rohl may also have set himself up for more criticism with another set of comments before facing Celtic again. Speaking so bluntly about the hoops only days before another derby rarely goes unnoticed in Glasgow. Last week, the Rangers manager was already talking up his side's superiority. Celtic's late comeback quickly changed that narrative. Now Rohl has added another comment to the list by dismissing Celtic as Rangers' toughest opponent. In a rivalry where every comment is remembered, those words tend to come back if the result goes the other way. In other news, Martin O'Neill says Celtic can't take things for granted as they battle for the league title this season. The Hoops looked like they'd be in a position to cruise to a 5th league title in a row. Rangers were miles off it at the start of the season, with everyone expecting Hearts to fall off eventually, only to be proven wrong. Motherwell were good to watch, but were struggling to pick up 3 points, and no one had them in the title challenge conversation until the turn of the year. It was arrogance from Celtic's side, but that's caught up now. The title is no longer in Celtic's hands, and they're now relying on other teams to take points off of Hearts while having a perfect run until the end of the season. Celtic will host Hearts at Parkhead in the split, which could be a massive tie for both clubs. Martin O'Neill thinks the challenge has surprised Celtic, and it's here to stay. He told Record Sport, "You can't take things for granted. You have to fight every single season for something. And while we've had a glorious period for quite a number of years, I think that the challenge that has come up this season, I might be wrong about this, but it might have surprised us in that sense. maybe thinking Hearts weren't going to challenge, maybe thinking the same about Rangers. From a distance, I didn't think that Rangers were all that great, but what their squad together now is, by Scottish standards, it's not been cheap. They've spent a few pounds and probably had to improve their team. I think for us it's been a spoiled period for quite a number of years. You can't treat it lightly, and I think it's been a great thing for Scottish football. But for us as a football club, people are asking about trophies. To me, this season, we're a long way off trophies. Could have won one, yeah, absolutely. But in terms of now, I don't even consider that. Hearts are at the start of their journey under Tony Bloom, while Rangers' new owners will be desperate to win a league title and make waves in Europe. Celtic now need to not match the ambition being shown by other clubs, but beat it. It's a massive summer ahead for the Hoops. In other news, the Green Brigade have gone public again, and their Friday night statement lays bare just how troubling this row with Celtic has become. With the group still locked out and the Motherwell game on March 14th set to mark the 30th match affected by the suspension, the Ultras used the statement to set out their version of events, the timeline behind the ban, and their frustration at what they describe as a deeply unfair process. Celtic's public position has long been that the issue stems from the incident at the Falkirk match on October 29th, when the club said a steward and police officers were assaulted, triggering a previously suspended sanction against the group. That sanction was first confirmed on November 7th, before later updates from the club widened the dispute to include alleged intimidation of staff, social media activity, and broader safety concerns. The Green Brigade, though, are not accepting that version of events quietly. In their latest statement, they say the 250 supporters affected have been subjected to collective punishment with no proper process, no right of reply, no means of appeal, and only limited communication throughout. They also claim the rationale behind the suspension has regularly shifted. Their timeline states that concerns over the matchday security operation were raised with the Celtic Fans Collective in August, well before the Falkirk flashpoint. They go on to say that after the October 29th incident, they raised concerns again with the supporter liaison officer, only for 250 fans to be hit with a 6-match suspension on November 7th. The statement also points to later developments that have hardened feeling on the supporter side, including the refusal of fan representation at a safety advisory group meeting on November 18th, the arrest of 5 Celtic supporters on November 20th, and the later court revocation of a police-imposed ban from Celtic Park for those individuals, which the group say undercuts claims they posed an ongoing risk. There is clearly a battle here over narrative as much as outcome. The Green Brigade say they have been frozen out without due process, and it's difficult to come to any other conclusion. What cannot really be denied is that this has dragged on for far too long. Celtic are second in the table, 5 points behind Hearts with 9 games left, and the title race is still alive. Whatever side of the argument supporters fall on, this now feels like the point where a resolution is needed. We think it is in Celtic's interests, fans and board members, that the Green Brigade are back in for the run-in. 5 points behind Hearts with 9 games to go, Celtic Park needs to be rocking. It's time for sensible decisions to be made and for collective punishment to be binned by the club. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.